Hello, everybody. Welcome back to PW IELTS and TOEFL Prep. My name is Vandana, and this is IELTS Premier League. Now, in today's session, we are going to be diving deep into the speaking module. And speaking module is divided in three parts. We are going to dive deep into the first part of speaking. And I know how much some of you are troubled with this particular module and how much you are working upon your language skills so that you can sound fluent with accuracy. So let's focus only on that in today's session. Speaking part 1 of IELTS and focusing on accuracy as well as fluency. Let's get started. All right, so the very first thing is we are going to cover the overview quickly in just about 5 minutes. So what happens on the day of exam is the entire speaking module is wrapped up within 11 to 14 minutes. It's not going to be something very lengthy. It's going to be super short. And in these 11 to 14 minutes, this module is divided in three parts. Part 1 is known as the introduction round. Part 2 is the cue card. And part 3 is the discussion round, out of which we are going to dive deep into the first part today, which is the introduction round. Coming to the introduction round, a lot many students feel कि इस round में first part में introduction पूछी जाएगी, as in कुछ इस तरह का question पूछा जाएगा, tell me something about yourself or please introduce yourself. Then let me tell you, this is not going to happen. In part 1 of IELTS speaking, they as in the examiner is never going to ask you these kind of questions that tell me something about yourself or please introduce yourself. ऐसा नहीं होने वाला है. Hi Bhavya, how are you? I hope you are doing great. Honestly, I'm seeing you after a long time. I still remember you in my last live. I hope you are doing wonderful. All right, now the entire part 1 lasts for about 4 to 5 minutes, but students feel that in part 1 they have to speak for 5 minutes continuously. ऐसा भी नहीं है भाई. You are not supposed to talk continuously for 5 minutes. What happens is, in part 1 of IELTS speaking, you are asked 10 to 12 questions. Yes, easily 10 to 12 questions are asked. And when you answer those 10 to 12 questions, automatically the length of part 1 comes down to 5 minutes. So long story short, you are not supposed to speak for continuously 5 minutes. Okay, it's not that you have to deliver a talk. वो नहीं करना है. Let's also talk about the marking criteria. I'll not be explaining this. We'll be going in a very crisp manner. So there are 4 criteria on which you are going to be scored, on which, your band score depends on these 4 aspects. So number 1 is fluency and coherence. Coherence means logical connection between your ideas. How do you do that? By using conjunctions. And you can use simple conjunctions like because, but, however, that's it. And lexical resource means vocabulary. Honestly, without fancy vocabulary, you can touch band 7 in IELTS speaking, but you need to use words correctly and you need to avoid repetition of words, unnecessary repetition of words. So if this much is done, if you are using intermediate level of words, not very advanced rocket science kind of vocabulary, intermediate level of words without repetition, you are able to touch that band 7 in the vocabulary criteria. I am doing very well, guys. Thank you so much for asking. And I feel I am seeing your comments here after a very long time. My last live was on PT exam. Jump, ma'am, please. Acha, theek hai. All right. So yes, I was talking about vocabulary, and the third criteria was, it is grammar with range and accuracy, and of course your pronunciation, accurate pronunciation and voice modulation, all that is needed. Now let's proceed. I need speaking module 3.5. What's that 3.5? Okay, so in part 1, you are going to be asked super simple questions based on your life. Okay, I have written some topics here: hometown, work, studies, your likes and dislikes. But इसका मतलब ये नहीं है that you will be asked only these topics. They as in the examiners, they have thousands of topics. They can ask anything under the sun related to your life, and you should be ready to answer that. यहाँ पे एक trick बताऊं. When the question is about your life, एक trick बताऊं? Yes or no? Yes, it has a gap. So what? It makes me look different and unique. Okay, so moving on. So I'm talking about a trick here, guys. Okay. The trick is sometimes what students do is they in part one talk about fancy ideas. Rather than fancy ideas, you should be talking about your real story. Okay, because when you stick to your reality, you don't fumble. When you try to bring fancy ideas which are not your reality, then you fumble. So rather than thinking of fancy ideas, stick to your story. All right. Fine, guys. Moving on. Like I said, 4 to 5 minutes, and you are going to be asked around 10 to 12 questions. Now, the question is, आपको कितनी देर का answer करना है on each of these questions? Your answer length should be around 3 to 4 sentences. That's it. 3 to 4 sentences. Okay, so there's no need to stretch unnecessarily in this part. Moving on. Let's talk about the golden rule of part one. Honestly, if you just ace this thing now, you will be able to ace part one. Whatever question is asked, just state your reasons over there. Just state why or why not. Okay, so for example, let's say the examiner asks you the question, do you like tea or coffee? And whatever you say, just state your reason. For example, if you say that I like drinking coffee every day, and that's because means now you are stating reason. That's because it keeps me energized and recharged for the entire day, and I don't feel sluggish or lazy, so it keeps my productivity high. So that's my reason. Just answer why or why not in part one. That means add reasons. Moving on. Okay, here is one example that you have. Let's say the examiner asks you, do you like reading? A bad answer would sound like this. Yes, I like reading, a one-liner. A good answer would sound like this. It says, yes, I do, especially fiction novels, because यहाँ से हमारा why aspect start हो रहा है, because they help me relax after a long day. So we are answering why do we like reading. And if you do not like reading, उसका भी reason बता सकते हो. You can refuse and learn to refuse in speaking part one. How to stop doing spelling mistakes. Make a list of the words that you are goofing up with and cram their spellings. Make an error log. Thank you very much, Shivraj. I really appreciate that comment. Oh my God, you got 7.5. Oh my God, slow claps everybody for Shivraj. He got 7.5 just by watching our YouTube videos. Yay. All right, how to stop doing spelling mistakes. Like I said, make an error log and note down all the words that you are goofing up with and write their corrected spellings and cram those spellings. इतना पेन लेना पड़ेगा, इतनी practice तो लगेगी. Okay. All right, so moving on. Yes, I was talking about the no aspect. If you are somebody who doesn't like reading, then state your reason. A lot of people, for example, who don't like reading, they find it boring. So just state that. Just say that, no, I don't like reading because I find it boring. The moment I sit with a book, I start feeling sleepy. That's it. Learn to say no. Okay, moving on. Right, these are some ways you can use to expand your answers. Number one, reason की हमने already बात कर लिया. Add reason. Number two, in some of the cases, you can also add examples. Number three, frequency. This is a very cool way to expand your answers. Frequency means how many times do you do some action? Okay, how many times do you do some action? For example, how many times do you watch a movie in a month? So let's say, is it once a month? Is it twice a month? Is it thrice a month? Is it once a week? Is it once in a blue moon? इसके ऊपर मैंने एक पूरी recorded video बनाई हुई है. And is it once in a while? All these are your frequency phrases. अच्छा, while तो लिख दिया मैंने. Once in a blue moon. Honestly, if you use these kind of phrases and words like once, twice, thrice, thrice in a week, twice a fortnight, ये भी लिख देते हैं आपके लिए. So twice a fortnight, the examiner is going to be super impressed. And they do ask such questions in part 1. They may ask that, how often do you meet your friends? So you can say twice a fortnight or once a month, whatever is your reality. Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. The next one is feeling. Now, whatever activity you are talking about, I find it interesting. You can add a feeling adverb over there. So, for example, let's say you are talking about shopping. You are saying that I go shopping once a week or I go shopping once a month. And then you can add why or maybe the feeling that's associated with shopping. For example, a lot of people feel elated. Elated means happy after doing shopping. A lot of people feel energized, refreshed, unwind, rejuvenated. So आई एम श्योर शॉपिंग के बाद कोई वरिड और एंशियस तो फील करेगा नहीं, बट येस नेगेटिव अगर फीलिंग है सो ये जाएगा नहीं वैसे. You can't say that I do shopping every week because it makes me feel worried. So it doesn't go. But yes, if you are not somebody who likes shopping, who does shopping rarely, let's say once in 6 months, then you can say, I really avoid shopping. I do it once in 6 months when it becomes an absolute necessity. And I avoid it because it makes me worried. It makes me feel tired. So negative adverbs, negative adjectives can be used like that. Okay. However, with shopping, I would always take positive adjectives. That's my personal story. But yes, you can have your own. So, moral of the story, आपको हर आंसर में ये चारों चीजें ऐड नहीं करनी है. Okay. In one answer, you can add reason. In another answer, you can add example. In another one where they are asking frequency of an action, there you use once, twice, thrice. So in different answers, you can use different techniques. Okay. There's no need, there's no hard and fast rule कि एक ही आंसर में चारों टेक्निक्स हमें यूज करनी है. We don't have to do that. Moving on. Yeah, I mean, in speaking part 1, this is important. ये बड़ा simple सा दिख रहा होगा आपको, but ये बहुत important है. You know why? I do speaking practice with my students almost every day. In one-to-one sessions, in my batches, I do speaking practice with them almost every day. And one thing that I notice is the way they start their answers. Now, the way they start their answers is robotic, it's artificial, or they simply end up repeating the question statement. For example, let's say the question is, do you like summers? Most students would begin their answer like this. They would say, I don't like summers because the heat is too much to bear. So what did you do in this answer? आपने पूरा question statement repeat करा. I don't like summers. Do you like summers? I don't like summers. Instead of repeating the question statement, इनकी आदत डाल लो. Okay, now how can you use them? Same question. Do you like summers? Honestly, no. Because living in India, most of the time we are bearing that scorching heat for almost 8 months a year, 8 months in a year. So I really don't enjoy summers. But yes, I do enjoy winters and monsoons. That's how. Honestly, no. Or maybe, do you like summers? Well, I don't. That's because I don't like the heat that we get here in India. The temperature goes up to somewhere around 45 to 47 degrees, which becomes unbearable. So, well, I don't. No repetition of the question. Or I would say, we can say, did you learn to swim when you were a child? Now, which one can be used? Actually, no. Did you learn to swim when you were a child? Actually, no. Back in the day, we didn't have so many good swimming pools as we do have now. So, if given an opportunity, I would like to go back in time and learn swimming, but I know that's not possible. So, yes, I'm learning to swim nowadays. So, what am I doing? I'm just using these sentence starters and they make me sound natural. And it's very important to sound natural, guys. It's very important. Moving on. All right, so some common mistakes that you should avoid are giving one-word answers or one-liner answers. Memorized answers are a major no-no. Repeating same words and repeating same ideas, a major no. Long, unnatural pauses. And in fact, using rocket science kind of vocabulary which you have not used before. Avoid that also. Moving on. I'll give you some speaking frameworks. शायद उससे आपको थोड़ा ease हो जाए speaking के लिए. I did this for part 3 also in one of my lives a couple of months back. But now these frameworks are about part 1 of IELTS speaking. So let's take a look at them. The very first is state the situation, action plus result. If you want, you can write down these frameworks. Now, how exactly do we use this? Situation, action, and result. Simple hai, dekho. If the question says, do you enjoy cooking? Yes, I do. Last weekend, I tried cooking pasta for my family. So this is situation and it turned out surprisingly well. So it's situation plus action that I tried cooking pasta and it turned out surprisingly well is our result कि बहुत अच्छा बना था. See, when you are cooking a dish और वो अच्छी बन जाती है ना, so this is the phrase that you use. It turned out well, it turned out good. मैंने ये बनाया था और वो अच्छा बना. I made a curry and it turned out really well. Okay, moving on. Okay, so now ये तो बहुत ही पॉपुलर फ्रेमवर्क है 3 Ws और 5 Ws फॉर क्यू कार्ड. ऑनेस्टली इसकी प्रैक्टिस आपको ज़रूर करनी चाहिए. दिस विल रियली बी इम्पैक्टफुल इन योर स्पीकिंग स्किल्स जर्नी. लेट्स टेक अ लुक. सो आपको करना क्या है? जस्ट आंसर व्हाट, व्हेन, व्हाई. ओके, लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट द एग्जाम्पल. सो इट सेज व्हाट डू यू डू इन योर फ्री टाइम? आई यूजुअली वॉच मूवीज in my free time, especially in the evenings, because it helps me unwind after a busy day. So unwind means relax. That's it, guys. सबसे easy है ये देखो. What do you do when you see that the question is beginning like this? Use this. What do you do in your free time? I usually watch movies. So we are answering what here? In my free time, especially in the evenings. Now we have answered when. And why do I watch movies? Because now I am answering why. Why means I'm giving reason. Because it helps me relax after a busy day. That's reason. And you know what? Because my world revolves around this IELTS exam, I sometimes do get dreams also of IELTS, so much so. One thing that I have noticed in writing module and speaking module is if you understand how to answer why, oh my God, you can go into such depths, such details of that idea. It's nothing like this. Both in writing as well as in speaking. Start practicing on the why aspect. Okay, so if air pollution should be brought down, why should it be brought down? If I like coffee, why? If I didn't learn swimming in childhood, why? Do I like living near an airport? Yes. Why? No. Why? Start practicing your why. Moving on, the next one is because plus so. I mean, with this framework, you will be able to add 2 conjunctions in your answer, and conjunctions are recommended. So you will be able to add 2 conjunctions in your answer and it makes easy breezy answer. The answer becomes very easy. So for example, look at this one. It says, why do you like weekends? And I'm saying I like weekends because I get time to relax. So I feel more refreshed for the next week. Okay, so because is my reason. देखो, honestly, because आ गया मतलब why आ गया. Why का आंसर कर रही हूं मैं यहाँ पे. Why आ गया मतलब reason बता रही हूं मैं that why do I like my weekends. Why do I like them? Because I'm able to relax. So I feel, now this is action. So आ गया मतलब result. Result, not action, result. So I feel more refreshed for the next week. Okay. Is that making sense, guys? Yes or no? Moving on, now let's practice. Yeah. And I'll be showing you a few questions one by one. I need your ideas here in the chat box, in the comment section. I don't want you to write complete full-fledged answers, just small little keywords. And seeing those keywords, I'll be able to understand. I'll be able to frame the entire answer. If you write the entire answer, it will take a long time and I might not be at, I might not be at hold for such a long time. So let's take a look at your ideas. This is the very first question. It says, how much walking do you do in your daily life? Yes, guys, let me see. Come on, come on. A regular amount of around oh wow, that's good, Manveer. What about the rest of you? I do not religiously indulge in walking. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Same is the case with me. I do not go for a walk almost every day, but how am I going to answer this question? So it says, how much walking do you do in your daily life? I would say not much. I'm a working professional and I am at my desk for 9 hours a day. I work remotely, which is why I don't really get a lot of time to go out in parks and indulge in walking. And therefore, I have recently joined a gym and I make sure to run on treadmill for at least 15 minutes a day to compensate for my sedentary lifestyle. That's my answer. If I'm using any word that you want to ask, shoot it in the comment section straight away. I'll be more than happy to give you the words and vocabulary that I'm using. One collocation that I just used was sedentary lifestyle. What do you mean by this one, guys? I also used another collocation, which is I work remotely. What do you mean by this? Sedentary lifestyle, although I don't remember exactly, I can say that I walk for about 30 minutes every day, which keeps me fresh and active. Super cool, Rohit. Well done. I walk regularly in garden because it helps me. S is needed. It helps me regain my energy whole day working and sitting at work. Okay. I think, Bhavya, you should end your answer at here because it helps me regain my energy. Full stop. That's it. Yeah, sedentary lifestyle means a lifestyle which is not active, जहाँ पे ज़्यादा body movement नहीं होता है. A lot of us, unfortunately, these days have sedentary lifestyle. We don't go out, we don't work out, we don't walk. We just are at home watching movies or just scrolling, doom scrolling on social media. That kind of lifestyle is sedentary lifestyle, जहाँ पे आपका body movement नहीं हो रहा है. So this is what I used. I said that recently I have joined a gym so that I can compensate for my sedentary lifestyle. That's what I said. Okay. Yes, it means work from home. Work remotely means work from home. Absolutely correct, Rosie. Desk job, yes. Walking rarely. All right. Can we use 2 to 3 noun phrases? And of course, why not, Rohit? Chalo, let's proceed. Next one, do you walk more? Sorry, did you walk more when you were at school than now? So post your keywords here in the comments. Let me see, and then I'll give you my sample answer. Come on, guys. Need help? Okay, look and understand. Okay, this question begins with this helping verb did, which means this question is about your past. Number one. Number two, in this question, we have this word then, THAN. This word is used for comparison. And then we have this word now. This word is used for present. So, this question is comparing between your past and present. Through these kind of questions, examiners check your tense knowledge. The examiners would like to see whether you are able to blend present tense and past tense with accuracy. And this is something that is done in part one all the time. They try to see your tense knowledge, your grammar knowledge in part one. Let me see what you guys have posted. No, I did not walk much during my school days, but now I walk because now I know about its benefits and health consequences. Nice, nice. I think health consequences sounds negative, but you are trying to say positive. So you can say, because now I know about its benefits regarding health. Full stop. Okay. Karthik says, yes, as I used to walk to school daily as it was nearby. अच्छा देखो, नाउ अंडरस्टैंड, नियर बाय टू माई प्लेस। जब हम ये नियर बाय यूज करते हैं ना, इसके साथ टू नहीं लगाएंगे, as it was nearby my place, no to. Okay, I usually preferred to walk along with my friends to school. Also, we used to play. Hmm. Nice answer, Karthik. One sentence, if you could have added about now aspect also, it would have been even better, but still, it's a good answer. Rosie says, I used to walk more in my school days because of the, okay, I guess you're still typing, Rosie. Bhavya says, yes, I used to walk more. In fact, I used to go to school by walking as it was nearby. Well done, everybody. You guys are nailing it already with correct grammar, good ideas, using conjunctions. क्या कर रहे हो आप लोग यहाँ पे? You guys are experts already. Okay, now giving you my sample answer, which was my reality. Okay, so the question says, did you walk more when you were at school than now? I would say absolutely yes. Back in the day, I used to walk a lot with my friends, so much so that sometimes I used to come home from school on foot. However, unfortunately, that's no more the case. Now whenever I go or wherever I go, I just try to book a cab, or I like to go by my car, and that's fortunate as well as unfortunate sometimes, that yes, I don't walk much. Okay, moving on, let's move to the next one. What places are there to go for a walk near where you live? What places are there to go for a walk near where you live? Let me see your ideas. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, guys. Keep going. By the way, I used a word phenomenal, so I'm writing this one also for you. That means excellent job. Yes, Rohit, and that's why we need practice. Honestly, practice से सब कुछ possible है. Initially, हम लोग errors करते हैं. That is the whole journey of language learning. आज अगर मैं भी French learn करना शुरू कर दूँ, तो मैं भी errors करूँगी. But with practice, those errors would reduce. That's the journey. And that is why you should speak English every day. Don't think too much. Whatever places are there, just post them in the chat box. I'm from Delhi, Rosie. Okay. If you guys are not posting your ideas, then let me answer this one for you. Maybe you are thinking what places. Honestly, you don't need a list of places for these kind of answers. और यहीं पे students गड़बड़ कर जाते हैं. They think कि मेरे दिमाग में तो सिर्फ parks है, मैं और क्या बोलूं और मैं सिर्फ parks के ऊपर answer कैसे बनाऊं. Honestly, all you need is one single idea. मैं भी सिर्फ parks के ऊपर बोलने वाली हूं. I have no other place in my mind. Living in a city like Delhi, you don't really have a lot of places to walk. All you have is either gyms or parks. That's all you have. Okay, so Rohit has posted, he says, well, near my home, the best place for a walk is a small public park. It has a peaceful environment, so many people go there in the morning and evening. Sometimes I also walk in this quiet park, not on, in, but otherwise super cool. Just one idea, but well elaborated. Okay, so how would I answer this? The question says, what places are there to go for a walk near where you live? I would say, well, there are a few parks in my area, but the problem is they are always very crowded, which is why I don't like to go there for a walk. I like to go to my gym. Full stop, end of story. I would say we have community garden nearby home. Yes, Bhavya, that's one liner. Now explain it. How will you explain it? By talking about, by blending in your story. Do you go to these gardens? Yes. If yes, why? Add that. If you do not go to these gardens, then add no and state why. Another thing, there's a difference between parks and gardens, okay? Parks are public parks that we see in our colonies and societies. Gardens are the ones which a private house has. Okay, now if a private house, if a house owner has a garden inside their premises, that is known as garden, that's not known as park. Park is the one that we see in our colonies and societies where everybody can go. Okay, so that's a small difference between parks and gardens. But yes, you can explain a bit more by adding your ideas here, that do you like to go there? If yes, why? If you don't like I said, I don't like to go to these parks because they are crowded. That's my why. You think about yours. Okay, moving on to the next one. Did you enjoy going to museums when you were a child? Okay, let me see your ideas in the comment section, guys. You'll have to make that inquiry, Rosie. I can't comment. I don't know actually. Okay, just post yes or no, guys. This is how it works. Whenever your question begins with a helping verb, did, is, am, are, was, were, did, do, does, whenever your question begins with a helping verb, your answer is going to be either yes or no. Okay, you either state yes or no, first step, and then you state your why. Okay, so how would I answer this? The question says, did you enjoy going to museums when you were a child? I would say absolutely yes. As children, we are always so curious to explore new things, and that was the same case with me. However, now I am not really a museum person. Whenever I go for a holiday, I don't visit museums. That's my answer. Absolutely, I did. When I was a child, school trips to museums, plural. School trips to museums were quite exciting for me. This is because I could see sculptures, paintings, and learn about history. Okay, we have three nouns here, which should be in plurals. One is museum, second is sculpture, third is painting. All three should be in plurals. Otherwise, good answer, Rohit. Well done. Rosie says, to be honest, I like this beginning, Rosie. Very well done. To be honest, I wasn't particularly fond of museums as a child because I found the long walks and silence a bit tedious. Oh my God, such a beautiful answer. However, I did occasionally enjoy the interactive science exhibits or seeing. Oh my God, do you write like this? Is it actually your language, Rosie? I am impressed. Massive dinosaur fossils, which felt like stepping into a different world. Okay. If this is your language, if you write like this, I'm super impressed. Bhavya says, certainly. Wow, guys, I like the beginning. Certainly, museums are integrated part of my life. Okay. If I will go now as an adult, as I'm an adult, it will still surprise me with the same intensity. Okay, nice. A few corrections in this answer would be, Bhavya, although it's a very nice answer, you are using complex sentences, good grammatical range, absolutely phenomenal and genuine beginning, no robotic tone. One thing that many students fail to understand, यहाँ पे एक grammar rule बता देती हूँ. ये जो if clauses होते हैं ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई से समथिंग लाइक दिस, कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस, अगर आपने नहीं पढ़ा है तो ये टॉपिक आपको पढ़ना चाहिए. बीइंग आईएल स्टूडेंट, दे आर नोन एज कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस. ठीक है. एंड इसमें क्या होता है, इफ क्लॉज प्लस मेन क्लॉज होता है. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ आई राइट समथिंग लाइक दिस, इफ आई विल ईट जंक फूड, I will put on weight. Now see, before the comma and after comma, we have two clauses here. The clause which begins, clause is a sort of sentence only. The clause which begins with if, this is known as if clause. Okay. And the clause which comes without if, this is our main clause in simple language. Right. Now, one important rule that many students do not know is, aap batao, you tell me, is there any error in this sentence? All of you? If I will eat junk food, I will put on weight. Is there any error in this sentence, guys? Just say yes or no. And please forgive my handwriting. Okay. That means you are not able to spot. If I'm not getting your answers, that means you're not able to spot. Yes, there is an error. Let's mark that error with a separate color so that it's visible clearly. The thing is, this will is wrong. Okay. Whenever we use conditional sentences, in if clause, we do not use will or would or even shall. Will, would, shall do not go in if clause. Now this sentence is correct. So if I eat junk food without will, if I now use this sentence, the sentence would be absolutely accurate and it would be, if I eat junk food, I will put on weight. Okay, that's how we use. Similarly, in your answer, Bhavya, if I will go now, so will needs to be removed. If I go now, then it would be fine. I hope that made sense to all of you. Connector is missing. Connector, if connector ही होता है, my dear, connect, if is a conjunction. If is an advanced conjunction. Okay. Moving on, the next one. Do you think it is best to go to museums by yourself or with friends? All right, let me know your ideas here in the comment section, guys. 2 minutes. Thank you, Yusuf. That means a lot. All right, let me give you the answer on this one. So do you think it is best to go to museums by yourself or with friends? My answer would be, if the concerned friend is also interested in going to museums, visiting museums, then you should definitely take them along with you. But if the friend is not interested in exploring museums and you are just dragging them along with you because you need company, then it's going to be a drastic excursion, because when one person wants something and the other person does not want the same thing, the compatibility is not there. So that would be my answer. I personally think it is better to go to museums alone because you can look at the exhibits at your own pace without any distractions. On the other hand, going with friends can be more fun since you can share your thoughts and discuss the story together, history together. Lovely answer, Rosie. But is it your language? That's what I'm thinking. But it's very good if you are writing this. If this is your own language, it's excellent. Rohit says, I think it would be better to visit museums with friends because it makes the whole experience more enjoyable. We can discuss historical objects together and share our thoughts. Yes, very well done. Hello, Umang. How are you? I think you are late. We are close to wrapping up the session. Going alone is also good if I want a peaceful visit. And then you can add. So, overall, it depends on the mood of the person who wants to explore, right? You guys are doing a wonderful job. And that's about it, guys. That's about today's session. I hope I was able to help you. If you want any specific topic to be covered by us, do let us know by posting in the comment section. I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye, everyone. Take care.